Hello everyone, welcome to K10 Music. Today will be our very first unboxing video. We've got something very special here today to take a look at, so let's not waste any time, we'll crack it right open. As you can see, I'm not very good at this, but hopefully with time I'll improve. So what we're going to be taking a look at today is a 6-string electric guitar. Nothing too out of the ordinary. But I would definitely say that while this is a popular body style, this particular model is not one you always see. It's become more well known in the recent years, but recently a limited edition run was done, and they took things to another level this time. This was very well packed, thanks to the seller. So as you can see, G cases from Fender. A little hint as to what we're about to see. Let's move our box out of the shot here and take a nice look. Alrighty, case is unlatched. Let's see what we've got. Looks fantastic. So what we have here is Fender's limited edition Cabronita Telecaster in Butterscotch Blonde. I've owned other Telecasters, I still have a few, but I've actually never owned a Butterscotch Blonde Tele before. And I gotta say, it really does look pretty fantastic. The ash body really pops, especially with all, being a transparent finish. Like the simplified look too. I was afraid that Telecaster usually has more going on, a little more pick guard, a little more control plate. And Cabronita is kind of a much simpler palette, so to speak, but I think it really does pop. I think it really looks pretty nice. Not a bad weight to it. And neck's looking pretty nice too. A little chunky, not super chunky though. It's definitely a C shape. I think even the fingerboard edges are rolled on it too, which feels pretty nice. But yeah, overall, I'm pretty impressed with the initial unboxing here. So let's go ahead and take a look at more of the features that come on this particular Cabronita Tele. So a closer look at the American-made limited edition Cabronita Telecaster from Fender. One of the things that concerned me when I looked at the stock photos of this guitar was the Butterscotch Blonde, transparent ash body, and this pale maple neck being just a weird contrast with each other. I typically like the look of a Butterscotch Blonde Tele when they have a tinted neck. I gotta say, in person, it doesn't bother me quite as much. I actually think it looks pretty good. And I can see why they did this. Now this neck, I am 99.9% certain is just basically the American Professional Series Telecaster neck slapped onto here. It feels exactly like that deep C neck profile. Has the kind of small, narrow, tall frets there and gloss fingerboard. And those are known to have kind of that pale maple without the tinting. The recently released American Professional 2 series now changed that. They do tint the necks. Which depends on the guitar's color, if I prefer that or not. And yeah, typically, Butterscotch Blonde looks good with a tinted neck, but I've got to say, this actually really goes together pretty nicely. I do like this neck profile. It's a bit chunkier for a C profile. You're kind of headed to U-shaped territory, but you don't quite get there. For my size hands, which are very small hands, this is kind of about my limit. I wouldn't want it to get any chunkier than this, but it's certainly not past the limit. It does feel very comfortable to play. I love the tuners on this thing. These are the classic gear tuners. So when you look at them, you think, oh, these are vintage style tuners, but no screws. These actually are the 2-pin drop-in tuners like the modern tuners that Fender make. And they just have the vintage buttons and look. The best part is they still have the 18:1 modern turning ratio though, so they feel great. And I do love the split head tops. It's great for adjustments, even swapping necks. You don't have to, get a whole new set of strings. Sometimes you can drop them right in. So kind of the best of both worlds with these tuners. Not locking tuners, but I don't really find that to be 100% necessary. And then looking more at the body, you got the simplified controls. So one thing that's a little funny is a toggle switch down here, you just feel like it wants to go this way and that way, but instead it goes up and down as if it's up here on the upper horn. So I'm guessing neck, middle, and bridge. And just one volume knob, no tone controls, just that. I have played TV Jones Classics before. I had a Classic and a Classic Plus in a Telecaster once. Just wasn't really my sound. I don't know what happened, but I just never bonded with it. And I ended up selling that instrument. So this should be an interesting one for me to play because it's another solid body telly with TV Jones. Maybe this time around I will be impressed. So without further ado, let's go ahead and plug it in, see how it sounds. Let's quickly run through some of the tones of this guitar. We've got in our neck position, really nice warm sound. I feel like this volume knob, anything up until about 5 is pretty much silent. I've got my amp up pretty good. And you can hear the tone is also down when the volume is down. It's only when I get that volume all the way up, the guitar kind of rings through. So I almost wonder if it's a treble bleed situation. Not really sure, but it kind of makes this more useful than just being a volume knob. It's also kind of a tone knob in its own way. It's kind of funky, but I like it a lot. Sounds fantastic. Now here's the middle position. And the bridge pickup. That really does have some spank to it, that's for sure. Let's put a little distortion on this thing and see what we can get to sound like. Here is the neck pickup. Very nice. And here's the middle position. And finally, that bridge position. So first thing I'm noticing compared to the guitar I had with TV Jones Classics before, this thing really sings, and I'm wondering if it's because of the kind of lighter, resonant ash body. I had a kind of a thick, heavy alder body before. Man, this thing really just has more presence than I expected. And what I really like about the Filtertron pickups is they don't really cause much noise. They're very quiet, but they have a nice brightness to them. They're not like humbuckers. They almost sound like single coils. So if you're a Telecaster player and you want something a little different, but you don't want humbuckers in your telly, this might be something worth trying. It's right in the ballpark, but you don't get noise. You get a near single coil clarity, and you get its own vibe in its own way as well. So first impressions, I'm really liking this guitar, and we'll be doing a few more videos with it. So thanks for watching this video on Fender's limited edition Cabronita Telecaster. Let me know down below in the comments if you see this video what you thought from what you saw. Obviously, I did not mic up my amplifier and run it into my computer, so this was just kind of first impression sounds. There'll be more videos, a little bit more in-depth on the tones of this guitar, and if you subscribe to the channel, you'll get a chance to see those, as well as many other videos on guitars and other instruments. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more.